Tu B'Shvat, Purim and Pesach start in our family by planting some seeds, and I was a little later in starting my garden this year, so we planted these just a little while before Pesach, and you can see my daughter putting coriander seeds here, and we picked up some lettuce as well, which we will enjoy throughout the Pesach week. Preparations are in full swing, and I really try to make it as stress-free as possible, and I totally adhere to the dictum that if your dog won't eat it, it ain't chametz. So I do clean, but I don't drive myself crazy. I set things up, I focus on the kitchen, I focus on food prep, and for the rest, it's really good enough. I really believe in having compassion for yourself and your loved ones at this season. Look at that whopping big horseradish, and nothing to me signals spring like a beautiful clean fridge, totally rejigged for Pesach with fresh produce. Our approach is to eat really simply during the week. We don't spend a ton of money on Pesach products. We just scale it right back with fresh produce, fresh vegetables and such like. Covering the countertops is a Pesach tradition in my family, and it just sets my mind for the festival as well as help with keeping kosher. Speaking of which, here I am kashering my utensils, and once that's done, it's time for food prep. The first thing I got going was the chicken soup and vegetable soup, and then the brisket, of course, with this delicious rub, and then just listen to that sizzle on that meat. Add the vegetables, the tomato sauce, the herbs and the spices, and a little bit of red wine, and that makes for a delicious brisket. This is a true and tried recipe in my family, and everybody loves it. Apart from brisket, we had loads of other dishes, including this beet salad, which I really love. I'm a big fan of Middle Eastern spices and cilantro. And some of our other menu items include matzah ball soup with chicken, potato salad, salmon, gefilte fish, stuffed bell peppers with quinoa for my vegan and vegetarian guests, and this multicultural international harosset, which blends the different elements of my husband's heritage and my heritage with a nod to the different parts of the world that we carry inside of us. Gefilte fish from a log, not the jarred stuff, of course. And here is a fan favorite, my stuffed bell peppers, which people really love, and it's an easy and inclusive way to make something tasty for vegan and vegetarian guests. Here we are, setting the table for our Seder. We had 14 this year, which by our standards is pretty modest, but it was still a full house. People brought us beautiful flowers, fruits and desserts, and flowers really mean Passover to me. They just make me so happy, and people were very generous in bringing me beautiful bouquets, which I'm enjoying all throughout the week. Some votive candles to add a little extra atmosphere, and we are ready to go. As you can see here, our buffet table is laden with goodies, including eggs to coast us over during a magid before we get to the Shulchan Orech, the set table. I love my Spode Judaica collection, which pairs beautifully with those Jewish colors. And a friend of mine had brought beautiful prompts with social justice themed questions for the Seder this year, which definitely added so much depth to our Seder and encouraged real sharing. My husband here is lifting the afikomen, about to tuck it away for the kids so they can go find it later. Here is our Haggadah. We have several Haggadot, but this is the Haggadah that we tend to use in bulk. And I am just basking in the glow of a beautiful evening with the people I love best. readings and the poetry in this Haggadah are really inspiring and pair very nicely with the traditional text as well. So I can highly recommend Mishkan Seder for both contemporary and traditional purposes. My middle child did such a good job singing Manishtana. Here I am accompanying her. I'm obviously not showing her face, as I don't show my children in my YouTube videos, but you can hear her voice in the background. She worked really hard at it and she did great. Onwards with the evening, more prompts and social justice questions to really make it relevant for our generation, as if we had exited Egypt. And it is a lovely phase in my children's lives that they get to read and participate in the Seder. Here you see one of my children working very hard on her reading. After the Seders, of course, it was time for puttering around and making matzah crack and checking in on those plants. See, those are those seeds I sowed. Time to enjoy the flowers and a good book, a cup of tea and my matzah crack, just for some contemplation and learning. Again, flowers really make my day. I am enjoying this Haggadah commentary with various essays from Koren Publishing, and I will link it down below. It is written from an Orthodox perspective, and I always love sampling different Jewish perspectives, and I tend to take a very open-minded approach in that who is wise, as Pirkei Avot says, one who learns from everyone. So I really enjoyed tucking into this during the peace and quiet of this sacred time. This brings our video to an end. My plants are thriving, and friends, spring is here. Thank you for being with me today.